Okay, now we learn to multiply a fraction with a fraction. And to do that, we'll start with something as simple as asking you, what's half a chocolate bar? So if you have half a chocolate bar right there, what would be the half of this? What would you do? You'd break it, if you want to take half of this, you'd break it into two equal parts, wouldn't you? Like that. So that's two equal parts, and multiply or of is the same thing. Half of half or half times half is the same thing. It has the same answer. So half times half, which would be one of those, wouldn't it? It would be just this, quarter. And that's what we get when we multiply right across on top and multiply 2 below. 2 times 2 is 4. What's happening, notice, we're changing the size of the bar, of the chocolate piece. It was this big, and now it's become smaller. So that's what we show when we multiply 2 by 2. The size, and therefore the name of the chocolate has changed. The name of the part of the chocolate has changed. It was half before, and now it's quarter. So that's the significance of multiplying two numbers below. You're actually changing the size of the piece or the part of the fraction that you're taking. And that's what really happens in real life. So let's try another one. So that's a quarter bar. Let's take half of 2/3 of a chocolate bar. That's 2/3 of a chocolate bar. If we take half of this, well, it means take half of each third. Take half of this, break it into two, then break this into two. All of these are broken into two. And you take one of those parts. Out of these two, you take one of those parts. So when you do 1 times 2, that's 2/6. What we are doing is this, 2/6. And that's the answer, which is the same as 1/3. So half of 2/3 is 1/3. Now that's common sense, which is why let's just use common sense without just let's half 2/3 right here. That's 2/3. This is 2/3, right? So half of 2/3 would be half of this. Well, half of this would be just cut a line down right there, would be just this. So that would be 1/3. That's common sense. It's like saying half of two hats. Well, half of two hats. Remember, hats is written below. Half of two hats would be one hat. And so with the same thing, half of 2/3 would be 1/3. And so 2/3, 1/3. There you go. Means to multiply, of course. So half times 2/3 is the same as saying half of 2/3. So the next question is, what's 2/3 of 3/4, or 3/4 of a chocolate bar? So let's show first 3/4 of a chocolate bar. There we are. 3/4, 3/4 of a chocolate bar. Now what's 2/3 of this? 2/3 of this would be to break each one of these into 3 equal parts and take 2 of those. So it would be like 3 times 4 is 12. So break this into 3 equal parts, break this into 3 equal parts, break this into 3 equal parts, and take 2 of those, right? So you take 2 here, take 2 here, take 2 here. That's 3 times 2, or answer would be 6/12 if you join them all together. So 6/12 would be exactly half. So that's the answer, half of a chocolate bar. So we can do it more commonsensically. Just take 2 of the 3/4. So here are the 3/4. Take 2 of them. That's 3/4 from here to here. So these are 3 things, like 3 hats. Well, it says take 2 of those, so it'll be 2/3. Or it'll be 2/4, which would be half. Because 3/3 go away, we get 2/4, which would be half. That's it. That's your half of the chocolate bar. So whether you do it this way or this way, use your common sense, you can get the answer straight away. So let's practice this a bit. Half a chocolate bar, multiply across the numbers on top, you get 1, and multiply across the number below, you get 2 times 2, and the answer is 1/4 of a bar. So here multiplying below changes the size of the chocolate piece. Same thing with this, 2/3 of 3/4 of a chocolate bar. Multiply across on top, that's 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 4 is 12, 6/12 of a bar, which reduces to 1/2. Again, we take half of 2/3 of a chocolate bar, multiply across. What do we get? What's the answer? That's right, 2/6. And can anybody reduce that to what? 1/3. Great. So let's do some more. 2/3 of 6 chocolate bars. I want to show you something here. If you take 2/3 of 6 chocolate bars, which means 2/3 times 6, and you take 6 times 2/3, will you get the same answer? Is it the same thing? Does this and this mean the same thing? Well, that's what we're going to explore. They have different meanings, but the answers are going to be the same. So in this part, we'll just show you what 2/3 of 6 chocolate bars means. And in the next part, we'll show you what 6 times 2/3 means. And you'll find that both mean differently, but have the same answers. So let's look at 2/3 of 6 chocolate bars. Those are the 6 chocolate bars. If you take 2/3 of these, right, but break them into 3 equal groups, like 1, 2, and 3. These are 3 equal groups. And now take 2 of those. That's 1, 2. 2 groups, 2 equal groups, which means you took how many bars of chocolate? 2/3 of 6 would be 6 you broke into 3 equal groups. Each group has 2, and you took 2 of those groups, so you get 4 bars. Can you remember that? 2/3 of 6 chocolate bars is 4 bars. You don't have to remember it. You can actually work it out on your own. We'll pause here and we'll continue in part 2. So I'll see you in the next part when we look at the next one, which is 6 times 2/3. Take care. Bye-bye.